Greetings. Welcome to the Brain Gauge channel once again. And I posted a aging study the other day, and I was just going to add to it. Uh, Basically, what we did was we looked at aging. What does aging look like in terms of brain gauge metrics from age 25 up through a little bit over 60. And let's review that real quick. Here's the last slide that was in that talk. And you notice that all of these different age groups, you have different values for the amplitude discrimination score. And amplitude discrimination is what contributes to the accuracy score. Amplitude discrimination is a question that you get when we say which one is larger. You're asked which of these two stimuli is more intense. You get both of these are delivered to two fingertips, and you just have to figure out which one's larger. And single site adaptation is when we deliver this illusory conditioning stimulus. It makes this larger stimulus feel smaller, and it makes it harder to tell the difference between these two. And so typically what you see is a amplitude discrimination score that's pretty good. And then when we add the illusory conditioning stimulus, it makes it much more difficult, and these scores get bigger. So the better you are at amplitude discrimination, the lower the number, and that's better. The better your plasticity score, or the more plastic your brain is, and the more you respond to that conditioning stimulus, the higher this number is. So they actually go in different directions. Okay, so here's the accuracy and plasticity scores are both pretty good. This is normal, 100%, 100% for both of those. Now, we did another study where we extended the age group, and we went to an aging facility, and we were assisted care living facility, and we studied about 40 people. And we were looking at people over age 65 through 85, and we wondered, would this pattern be consistent up through the ages? And the data was fairly muddled and hard to interpret until we went through the medication history of each person and separated out who is on medication and who was not. And it turned out that people that were non-medicated, let's look at the people who had no medication. People who had no medication, they look very similar. Here's their amplitude discrimination value, which is very similar to these values. And then their adaptation value, very similar. And look at that difference, huge difference. So that relates to their plasticity score. The plasticity score, very good. Now, the people who were on medication in the blue, their score, a little bit less than the amplitude discrimination, a little bit worse. And the adaptation value is much, much lower. Remember, for adaptation, you want a bigger number and you want to have a bigger difference. So that difference was much, much smaller. So those medications made a big difference in those people's plasticity scores. And it turned out that the main medication that these people were on were beta blockers, which is a blood pressure medication. So what do those scores look like in sort of the brain gauge format that you're used to? And here's controls with that's basically what they look like. Just notice the green stuff is marked. The ones that are colored are the ones we're looking at, accuracy and plasticity. And here's the accuracy score. It's just slightly worse. Plasticity score slightly worse if they're not on medication. And then, but if they were on meds, they're a little bit worse on accuracy, and the plasticity score is much worse. So, basically that's the kind of thing you're going to look at and see. Maybe some of your patients, or maybe some of you, are using medications. Don't experiment with your heart medications on any of my consult. Stick with whatever your doctor says. This is really just purely informational and the result of some research that we looked at. So anyway, if you have any other questions, shoot me an email, and thanks for watching. There's other videos, obviously the whole aging video that came right before this one, and the amplitude discrimination illusion has a little bit more detail on that particular thing. But anyway, thank you for watching and have a good day.